Hi there, this is Dilys Guyan and welcome to this special series of The Voice of Business on the Inspired Selling podcast. And the reason that I'm doing this is to bring insights from leaders, from small enterprises right through to global enterprises, to bring those insights that will help you and give you some ideas as to how you can take your company forward, not just to survive, but to thrive through this and beyond. So I have a really excellent guest this morning, and that is Richard Dunn. So welcome, Richard. I'm delighted to have you here today.
Thank you very much. Nice to be with you.
So let me tell you a little bit about Richard. And what a pedigree of a CV he has. So he's the Commercial Operations Director at Polygon UK and Ireland. And Polygon are a global leader in damage restoration, operating in 14 countries on 3 continents. And he has over 20 years experience in managing people and projects, and has worked on and overseen projects across Europe and in the USA. And he's part of a 750 strong team of industry professionals at Polygon UK, delivering solutions to a varied client portfolio. There's much more I could say about you, Richard, but I think that will suffice to position you as a real expert in your field. And I'm really looking forward to hearing how you have dealt with this pandemic, the challenges and so on. So let's just start by looking at why it was so important that you really took action at the beginning and for your organisation to really address this positively, to make sure that you survived and thrived through this.
Right at the very start of this, we took a decision to make sure that the people in our business were absolutely paramount. Their safety is way above anything else that we could put on the cards, on anywhere that we wanted to do. Is people are our first priority, and we within 48 hours had moved our entire call centre of 70 people to home working. We've got a very robust BCP. And we were able to up people and move them to make them safe. We shielded all those that had letters from the government. And we started then to look at how we could maintain our business, what we could do with our clients, what they were going through, how we could support them. And then lastly, you look at what potential opportunity you could have to further your business, because you've got to keep going. And we've got to make sure that people have got jobs to come back to, and they've got to feel secure that they can come back to work. So we've done a whole range of things to make that happen over the last 12 weeks or so.
So can you give us a couple of examples then, Richard, as to what you've done specifically?
A lot of it is around communication with people. We've got to talk to people all the time. So we started putting communications out almost daily to all our colleagues and staff across the business, furloughed or not furloughed. We've organised what we've called sort of town hall hangouts, if you like. We're a Google company, so we get people on hangouts to let them ask questions, to pass information to them, to make sure that they understand what's going on in the business and in their business, because it is their business. Without them, we wouldn't be able to carry on. We wouldn't be able to do things. So that's the important part that we took decision as a senior management team, is to keep people informed. We're a very open company, so they needed to know. So we've done videos. The managing director's done videos, and we've sent those out to all the staff. We communicate with them at least weekly, so they're fully up to speed, and they've got confidence that their management team and their line managers understand their concerns and their worries, because it moves on from that initial shock of being put on furlough and thinking about where you stand in a business and what's going to happen to you and your family, to that moment when somebody sends you an email, gives you a call and says, I want you to come back to work. And you've got to be in that person's shoes, if you like, and try and understand what's going on in their lives. because it's not easy to. Some people are very anxious, and unfortunately, some people are very gung ho as well. It's let's get in and get on with it. But we've all got to observe the measures that government give us advice from, and that's the only source that we've taken any advice from is the government. We've not looked at any social media, we've not taken advice anywhere, and then actually from the horse's mouth, as it were. We were all glued to the radio in those first 2 weeks, listening to what Boris Johnson had to say and analysing and making sure that we were giving the same message to everybody in our organisation.
Fantastic. And I must say that this is a message that's coming through loud and clear from people that I have been talking to in terms of this communication. But on the other side of the coin, I've also been talking to employees and finding out how they're feeling. And the ones who've been communicated with well, with transparency and honesty and clarity, are the ones who feel much more settled. Even when it's not such good news, they want to know just what's happening and know that they can trust the leaders to be able to give that honesty.
I think it's we talk about communication a lot. We talk about communication being the key to doing business a lot of the time, but you have to have communication with your staff, otherwise you end up with a toxic environment. And people don't want to listen to what you've got to say. They don't believe you. So we spend a lot of time making sure that all our staff all the way through the year are communicated with. We're a Platinum Investors in People company, and you don't get that accolade without showing everybody that you are top communicators, top trainers. Everything you do is about your people. We pride ourselves on that, and we have a HR department that work extremely hard to make sure that people are communicated with. And once you start communication, the worst thing you can do is stop it, because people don't understand you. You become sort of conspicuous by your absence. So it's important that communication keeps coming. It doesn't. Yes, you have to reinforce the message all the time, because that's what you have to do. People have to be able to listen and understand, and it's important that people get the ability to absorb that information in the way that suits them at the time that suits them. So just send them an email might not work. We've got to make calls to people, send videos to people, do whatever it takes so that people start to understand. I
love that, Richard, that you're sending videos.
Yeah, we do videos to the staff.
Putting that face in front of them.
Yeah, and showing them what's happening in our offices. The MDs will do a video every couple of weeks. You'll show them what changes and what measures we've put into the offices for one-way systems and all those sorts of things. One of the major things that we've done over the past few weeks is consult every single member of staff on what their worries and concerns are about returning to work, what the problems they're seeing or foreseeing coming back. And that can be everything from, is there enough PPE for me to work, to how are we going to manage the situation with toilets when we all come back to the offices, and things along those lines. Everything that, because it's, to think that managers have all the best ideas and understand what's going on is completely wrong. Everybody that's working on every part of every business will have ideas and concerns about what's going on. So we've consulted every single person in our business. We've set up a risk committee, and they feed in to the senior management team, and they relay back to their colleagues across the business on what's happening and what we're doing and how we're managing the situation, so that when the time comes and people do start coming back to work, they are confident that they're coming to a COVID-safe environment. And on the other side of that, we've got to tell our clients now, we work in the insurance industry, and that we work with householders, and they've got to be confident that people coming to their properties have followed all the right precautions, all the measures, and we're safe to go back into their properties and help them as well.
Yeah.
So we've got two sides to it.
Yeah. I'd really like to dig into the client side a little bit deeper as well, because I can see very clearly that there is this emphasis on your staff, but also on the clients. And without the clients as well, you don't have a business. They're the lifeblood of your business too. So what specific things have you done with your, if we look at past clients, existing clients, and maybe future clients, and I don't know, what your strategy has been in terms of retaining and gaining new business?
I think for retaining business that's been the key for us. We have some extremely large clients, global clients, that they need to understand that what we're doing is to help them. They've got shareholder responsibility as well as we have. Mm-hmm. Again, communication with them and letting them know and being completely honest with them. To say, yes, we have people on furlough because the job numbers that you're giving us are way below what we could do. And so we've got to take advantage of the government's coronavirus retention scheme. We have no options to do that. And being open with them and honest about how you're going to go around that, and actually when you're going to fetch people back to work, and allowing them to tell you what they're experiencing in their business, so that they can help you as well. So we like to think it is a partnership with people, long-term strategic partnerships with our clients, so that there's no master-servant relationship in there. We try and remove that so that it is an honest and open discussion about what's going on and the problems that we're seeing, and they can tell us about the problems that they're seeing and what the problems are within their business, and we can both help each other with pain points. And then further down the line is about business opportunities and what you could actually do. And there will be business opportunities that come out of that, out of this situation, because there won't be a chairman of a board anywhere on the globe, I wouldn't have thought, that isn't sitting and looking at this and saying to himself, okay, so this is what we've had to do for the last 12 weeks or 14 weeks. Which part of this has really worked for us and which parts haven't? And if we want to reevaluate our business, and we're not talking about cutting costs here or making people redundant, it's actually being more efficient and more effective and taking waste out of the system, to make business more streamlined and easier to do business with. And I think that's what we've got to try and do with our clients, current and future clients, is for them to be able to see that you're actually a streamlined business and you're ready for the next thing that comes along.
And I think that's forced all of us, from small business to global, to look at streamlining, because I think we could agree that there's a lot of waste and time wasted on things that maybe didn't need that amount of time paid to.
There is. We work we work with a system called systems thinking. So it's very much come from the automotive industry, where you're talking about lean thinking. We work with systems thinking. So we're constantly looking at where we can take waste out of a system, and waste out of a process. And that's not just what we've been doing since COVID started. That's what we've been doing in this business for the last 10 years, is to look at that and identify where there's waste, where there's failure demand, where's a wasted phone call, all those things that can just edge that little bit of extra profits for a company, and make a customer journey that little bit more enhanced and smooth. So they feel that they're part of they feel part of the process and not just in a process.
Excellent. And in terms of how you're operating and the action that you took, I'm very impressed that within 48 hours you had 70 people working from home. That is a big achievement, because you've got to have the technology for people to be able to work on, and they have to know how to do it, as well as the systems and processes, and them having the facility to be able to work from home too. Maybe they had a partner, maybe they've got homeschooling with kids and all of that. So you've done a lot of stuff, but so what are your priorities right now? What are you thinking, okay, here's what we need to be thinking about or planning or working on?
Well, we go right back to the thing of making sure that our staff are safe is the first thing that we're working on, to look at, make sure that they're happy, they're secure, and they know what's going on. And then we look beyond that as to when will business return to some level of normality, or what will the new norm be? Because I don't think we need to kid ourselves that it will all go back to exactly the same as it was before, because it's not only business that's changed, people's lives have changed as well. So the work-life balance is probably much better now for some people, but much worse for others, because some don't want to work from home, and it's a struggle for them because their environment isn't set up to do that. But our priority now is to rebuild back to a level where we are comfortable with everything that we've got coming through the door, and then looking at the business opportunities going forward. But actually, I keep coming back to this, is to communicate with our people, keep them aware of what's going on. We would produce a report every day about how many projects we've had come through the door, how much business is flowing through our systems, and we're keeping them up to date. They see this, they understand it, and allowing them to understand how we're balancing that with the people on furlough and the people that are working, and also those people that are working all the way through. They've got a fresh set of challenges themselves as well. So it's not just sitting at home being on a furlough that's really challenging for people and difficult. It's people that have been working all the way through, and the risk that they've been putting so many hours in, so much effort in, that actually they're getting to a burnout stage. So we need to balance all that up. And we're not out of the woods yet. We're there or thereabouts. We're expecting another announcement from the government today about social distancing, which will again throw another spanner in the works. Because if there's one thing that we've seen through all of this, is that the devil is in the detail. Everything that comes out from the government, we read again, because it's not always clear. The headlines are great for people to see and understand. But as business leaders, you've got to get right into the detail and understand it, and understand how it affects your business, how it affects your colleagues, and relay that information to the way that people can retain it, understand it, and retain it.
So with all of these things that you've put in place then, Richard, what have you found to be the most challenging, and that you maybe see to be an ongoing challenge?
I think it's customers, and customers understanding what people are capable of, and what businesses are capable of, and the way that we've handled this as a country. You can debate either positively or negatively. We're a global organisation, and our base is in Sweden. And if you look at how the Swedes have handled it and the Germans have handled it, they've gone a different way to us, and we've got to learn from everybody across the globe how people have handled it and what they've done. We've got friends in the Far East and the way that they've handled things. The ongoing problem will be consumer confidence in the service industry. We're all absolutely dying to get to the barbers or the hairdressers and go down the pub to get a pint, or go out for a meal, or all those things. But in the service industry, it's going to be consumer confidence, and for us, it's those people that still feel vulnerable, still feel in a position where they don't want people in their homes to help to carry out work. And we've produced a video for the people that we're doing business for, to understand what we're actually going to do when we arrive at their home, and how we're going to conduct ourselves, and what will be happening. One of an important thing that we've done is that every single job that we've gone to, we ring up and we ask a series of COVID-19 questions. Our technician on the road ring up and ask about a series of COVID-19 questions, and that has two implications to it. Firstly, that our technicians and our people feel safe, but also that the people when you're going to somebody's home, they feel safe and they feel secure that you're happy. And I think once if lockdown measures are eased again today, and the shielding's dropped later on next week, or reduced next week, then hopefully consumer confidence starts coming back, and people start believing that it's safe to go outdoors and do things again, and be with their friends and family, and allow works to carry on in their homes.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a catch-22 situation for people. The business you're in, you're in damage restoration, so floods and fires and so on. Yeah. So in a way, they have no choice. They have to have someone come in. And then there's that. So there's all of the upset of the damage.
Yep.
And then the fear factor of having people coming in, and then all of the social distancing and so on. And again, I've written it down, you know, sending videos to your clients is brilliant, because there's a face to it then. It's different to just getting an attachment on an email, or steps laid out in an email. That is much more personal, and I think much more reassuring for them to be able to see a person talking to them and caring about them. And it's coming through loud and clear, Richard, from talking to you about the care that you have both for your staff and for your clients. And that, I think that's what makes the difference. You know, I was going to ask you where you see yourself as leading the way, and I don't think I need to ask you, because it's so obvious that is making the difference. And I love it. I think
it does make a difference, but it's also about it's a wider thing. It's actually putting a face to the industry that we work in as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of people work in this industry. I started in this industry 20 years ago, and when somebody showed me what they did with a piece of electronics equipment, I'm an electrical engineer by trade, and you wash a piece of electronics equipment, I thought they'd gone completely mad.
Yeah.
It's a little known industry that helps people across the globe, and there's a lot of people that do a lot of great work out there to promote our industry, and come together. And organisations like the British Damage Management Association have given a lot of information out to our colleagues and the industry and the insurance industry as a whole, and that can't go unnoticed as well. But the fact that we do a lot, and we go above and beyond for most of our, or for all our clients and all our colleagues. But that's all backed up by the industry as a whole as well, and the insurance industry. And the insurance industry get a bad rap sometimes. You know, we all see the headlines of there's been flooding again, and what are you doing about it? And actually, you know, we do a lot about that. We do a lot to help people, and we don't want to see people out of their homes. We want to see people safe and secure and healthy in their homes, and that's been a target of ours from the start. Is don't let somebody go out of their home to alternative accommodation. Do everything you possibly can to keep that person feeling safe, secure, and healthy in their own home. And the industry needs to be applauded for that, not just individual companies, I think.
And the other thing that I'm hearing is that I refer to this as keeping the red paint red, and I think you are a great example of that. That whatever your values are at the top, the message is coming down, and it's as strong at the bottom as it was at the top. You know,
there has to be a clear and consistent message, and we lead from the front. And leadership is about taking people with you, not dragging them along. Mm-hmm. And making sure that they take accountability, and they've got trust, and they're not scared of conflict, and all the things that you want people to do. And if you could get all your team going in the right direction in at one time, it would make such a difference to a business. And looking for those dysfunctions and finding out where they are and addressing them, and not being scared to address problems. That's key. And we drive that through our management programs. We drive that through our colleagues. Is walk by. If you see something, challenge it, and don't be scared to challenge it. And that's worked for our business for a long time. We don't have any sort of toxicity in our environment. We're very flat. From managing director to technician, there's only 4 levels. Yeah. And his office door is open. And genuinely, I would say, when somebody says my door is always open, it's always said with a little bit of, yeah, okay. But
don't walk through it. My door's open, but don't walk through it.
Yeah, but genuinely, if his door is always open.
Fantastic.
No matter where you work in the industry, in the business, he will listen to you. He will talk to you. I'm in a privileged position. He's my boss, and I talk to him a lot, and we get on very well. Yes, we disagree. Yes, we challenge each other, but that's part of business, and that's part of this whole process as well. Is been allowing people to challenge what we're actually doing to make sure that they feel safe and they feel secure in what they're doing, and they know that when we say come back to work, they're coming back to a safe place, and we put in as many measures in as possible to make sure they've got a job to come back to.
Fantastic. I love to hear it. And I remember working with a car company, a global car company, but was working with the UK leadership team. And we were talking about great leaders. And what we did was listed out some great leaders and looked at commonalities and so on. And they put their MD on there. And I've never, ever, ever, in all of the years that I've been working with sales teams and leaders and sales leaders, ever had anybody do that. And when I asked them, tell me about this man, and they said exactly what you're saying. His door's open, he's interested in us, the communication is so good, it's regular, all of those things. And it was a buzzing environment, and you've just echoed that to me. So I so enjoyed listening to all of these really specific insights. So it's not just been generic stuff, we've really taken a deeper dive. So is there anything else, Richard, that you'd like to share with leaders, or maybe people who might be moving into a leadership position like yours?
I would say communication.
Right.
Communicate with your people. Get to know your business. You've got to become almost an expert. You don't have to know everything. That's why you build a great team around you. Put a great team around you and let them do their business. Don't employ people and try and restrict what they do. Let you employ them because they're great at their job. But communicate and listen. And there's a big difference. And one of the things I've learned in my last 4 years, particularly at Polygon, is don't listen to answer, listen to understand.
Yeah.
If you understand somebody's problem, no matter how minor or how major, you can talk back to them with some guidance and some authority. And it's difficult it's a skill you have to acquire as a leader. Communication.
And it creates that trust as well, doesn't it? And they will be willing to come and talk to you.
Yeah.
Much more willing to come and talk to you rather than keeping their problems to themselves.
Exactly.
This has been an absolute delight. Thank you so much. I know that my audience will get a huge amount from it, and have a great day. And thanks again.
Thank you very much, Dennis.
Bye for now.